Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of On the Fly Television. I'm your host, Dennis Gleason, and welcome to the show. Today is a very special episode because it's going to be a little longer than the normal 9.5 minutes. It's going to be about 28 minutes, give or take a little bit. What do we talk about on the Fly Television? Anything you want to. It doesn't matter if it's current events or things that are going on in your community, or whether it be talking about my trips that I've done recently or what have you. Whatever it is that we want to talk about is what we talk about. So I've had actually a couple people while we're setting up here say we want to talk about some subjects. And so one of the subjects was pedestrians in crosswalks. Well, this individual happened to be hit by a car, or almost hit by a car today, where came to an intersection and the person came up to stop, and they stopped, but as he was crossing the street they decided, well, it's more important that I actually reach down in my glove compartment than it is to actually stay at the line. So what he decided to do was she decided to go forward and basically ran into him, and he had to like pound on her car to get her to understand, hey, we're trying to actually get, go across the street here. So just remember out there, if you're a motorist, and there's always people riding their bikes and there are people walking and stuff like that. So please make sure that you're paying attention to your different pedestrians and such that are out there. It looks like we're having some camera difficulties, or at least looking at the camera difficulties, so sorry about that, folks. Again, this is ad hoc television. That means anything goes. We don't do retakes. If I mess up, I mess up. So we've talked a little bit about pedestrians. Make sure that you pay attention when you're at a stop sign. Just because you're there, or a stoplight, doesn't mean something else can't be showing up really quick. Any other subjects that anyone wants to talk about in the studio audience or the camera people? Anybody want to talk about anything particular? If I can use the word particular in the right English sentences and not use grammar correctly. I do have a couple subjects to talk about, and databases is one of them. It's a boring subject, so I won't belinger it too much. But Access is basically a pet of mine that I used to do a lot of programming on. And so one thing for you guys to think about before you build an Access database or deciding to use an Access database is that they are somewhat limited on the amount of actual space that you can use for it, and planning it out is probably what's going to be what you need to do to make sure that you have a good quality product. So before you even touch the Access database, get a bunch of people in the room that will be using it and have them tell you what's important, and so that way when you get the actual content in there, it can be in a format that's understandable and usable. So excuse me, I haven't been drinking, which is probably part of the problem. My throat's a little parched. But so other things we're talking about, obviously ad hoc television, letting you know that anybody can really produce a television show. All you have to do is find a cable access station in your local area, ask them what their programs are and what area that you can be from and still work in the program. If there's any costs that are associated with it, usually they'll tell you up front. This is, of course, being recorded on TVCTV in Washington County, Oregon. And if you are looking for ways you can get involved in either volunteering for a show, we have one person that's doing our cameras tonight that is actually the first time really working on a program. Or if you're looking at becoming a TV producer or directing a show, go online to www.tvctv.org or give them a call at 503-629-8534. The number should be on your screen there, and find out what programs are available, what things work in your schedule, and find out what the costs are. But generally speaking, it's somewhat inexpensive. What's important about cable access to remember is it is your voice. If you don't use it, we'll all lose it. And so if there's something that you have an opinion on, or something you want to let out, or if it's just entertainment that you want to give friends or family, feel free to go in there and find out what's available to you. If you're not in the Washington County, Portland area, there's plenty of different cable access stations around the entire United States. You can either go online to any search engine and just type in there, my local cable access station, the county and state that you reside in, and they should be able to tell you, hey, this is what is available to you. In fact, I think there's a couple of directories online that can actually help you find it wherever they may be in the country. So even if you're visiting and you're just going to be there for a short period of time, you're welcome to actually find out what kind of cable access capabilities you have in the area. So with that, what are the subjects that we want to talk about? Anybody have anything that you want to talk about?
Kindness.
Kindness. kindness. Okay, and this is from one of the people I direct a show for. Kindness. It's hard because you have to follow kindness with what backs kindness, ethics and morals and values. Because if you don't have morals, kindness, or ethics or values, you can't really be that kind, because you're being whatever your beliefs are. I work on one show called Dr. Don, where it actually says be kind, be friendly, be charitable to you too. And Dr. Don is a wonderful individual. He's definitely someone you can look up to. And kind is the important thing. Is as you go through your daily life, just think about what you do and how it impacts other people. And stepping on other people to get somewhere is really not inappropriate. It's not kind, but you can still utilize the resources that people have to get where you want to go. It's a team effort, even if both people don't know about it. So that's pretty much all I have to say about kindness. It's important, of course. We all know that, really. It's part of the golden rules. A lot of people just dismiss it once you're done talking about it, which is very unfortunate. So whatever the subjects we want to talk about.
Watch out for our elderly pedestrians as they're walking down Bethany Boulevard.
Watch out for elderly pedestrians as they walk down. I already mentioned it earlier that one of my members of my staff here tonight is the floor manager, almost got hit today. And again, just a reminder to make sure that when you're driving a car, that's a very big vehicle, and that if you're not really paying attention to pedestrians, cyclists, motorcycles, and yes, I know motorcyclists, generally speaking, don't really pay attention to your car either, but it's a two-way street, you know, for those people that ride bikes, for those people that are walking on foot, and for those riding motorcycles, etc. If you're not all following the rules, somebody's probably end up paying for it eventually. So just try to keep that in mind. So any other subjects you want to talk about?
Safety first for the trick-or-treaters.
Safety first for the trick-or-treaters. I had a little joke beforehand. I'm deciding not to share it completely. No? I'm getting a blank stare and a couple laughs. So the answer is really no, even though it was funny. Yeah, definitely watch out. Trick-or-treating's coming up here soon, folks. So while you're out driving around, you know, kids are out as soon as it starts getting dark, which in October, what is it going to be, 2 in the afternoon? No, it's like 4:30 or something like that, 4:30, 5 o'clock, it's getting dark. So keep in mind on Halloween, and sometimes since Halloween falls on a weekday, people celebrate it and go around probably inappropriately, but still they do it sometime on Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. So keep in mind that the kids might be out at any time from Friday through Wednesday for trick-or-treating. Don't run over the kids. Be extra slow pulling into and out of your driveway, and certainly into and out of courts that you can't necessarily see around the corner. I myself almost got clipped the other day just coming out of my driveway. I was looking both directions. I started pulling out, and this person very clearly didn't really care about what could be in front of them, and just tore up the street right around the corner. Didn't even think about it, and they're probably hitting around 35 miles an hour coming into a little short court, and I had to slam my brakes on, and the guy swerved to get into the lane. I had literally no notice he was coming, because I could see down the street and he came in so quick. So just remember, a little bit of precaution, a little bit of courtesy, a little bit of professional driving, will help prevent you from getting in an accident you don't want to have to deal with, and also prevent from hurting somebody that they'll have to necessarily deal with for the rest of their lives. So what other subject do we want to talk about? I got people smiling in there that want to talk about something. They're not willing to actually say it.
Major 49.
Major 49. Since I don't watch television, I just actually, direct it and produce it. I don't even know what Measure 49 is. What's Measure 49? Give me a synopsis of it.
Just ask them to vote.
Oh, okay. So apparently it's gone from Measure 49 to make sure you go out and vote, folks, because your vote counts only if you do. Something like that. Is that a PSA? Does that work for you?
That works.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
Do you know anything about a low-fat diet?
Do I know anything about low-fat diets? I know some things about low-fat diets. We're really stretching here, folks, but this is why we do this show the way we do this show, right? Mindless banter. We know that, and we will play it that way. I don't know too much about it because I actually do a lot of Atkins dieting. I do it here and there. I don't stick to it anywhere near as I need to. I'm not doing too bad. I mean, switch camera 2 over there. I'm not doing too bad. control room. See, I'm not too bad. A little bit overweight. I'm a big boy and 6'2", about 245 pounds, but less than I was 6 months ago. So that's the important part of it. So I warned them I was going to stand up. So there's your warning. I'll do it again, letting you know it will happen again. So low-fat diets, be careful about any diet. It doesn't really matter what it is. Make sure you're taking the right supplements. Make sure you get some advice on either online or from a pediatrician or doctor, depending on what your age is, to make sure that you're really not losing weight when you don't need to be, or if you're losing a lot of weight, you don't do it too quickly, because both can be health hazards. So check with your medical professional. Make sure you do some research before you go on any major diet, or especially if you go on any diet for an extended period of time. I think that's like 3 or 4 weeks or further. So watch your over-the-counter stuff, and definitely don't take more than what your body can handle, which most of the time is what the bottle says. So what else do we want to talk about?
We're wanting to know what to wear if you're going to crew this television TV.
I heard most of that too before. My directors are in there talking to my floor manager, and I can hear most of what the floor manager is hearing too. So what to wear when you're crewing a volunteer television show? Well, I'll tell you, honestly, most of the time the crew at cable access stations are better dressed than the real television. Sorry, not real television. The normal syndicate channels where they actually get paid to do the work channels. And one of it is because we have people that are in regular pants, some are in jeans, and then of course we have some people that are wearing slacks and a suit. And of course I'm wearing this, and yes, I am on front of the television, but I do wear this occasionally when I'm directing as well. Really comes down to is if you can do your job and you can be professional during the time that you're needing to do it, it doesn't really matter what you wear as long as it's appropriate. And if you don't know, ask the director or producer what that is.
We're wanting to also know, what should the talent wear?
What should the talent wear? What should the talent wear on television? Are you asking this question because you normally are out of uniform, or are you asking that question because you just want to know? Go ahead, you can answer that if you like. You asked the question.
People in the booth are asking all of these questions.
Okay, sure, blame the booth.
Don't take the messenger, please.
One thing to remember if you are on television is that a lot of times there are colors you really don't want to wear. You can see that I'm wearing a dark suit. It's partially gray, and it's not super dark, but we have a blue background behind me that can clash with it or not clash with it, depending on what I'm wearing. If I was wearing all black, obviously the black curtains on both sides couldn't have been closed. If I was wearing something that was blue, obviously the black curtains would have to be shut. And never wear white, a full solid white shirt, no matter what you do. It really messes with the camera. It makes it very difficult for you to see what the other person is supposed to be doing. Usually we have a person that sits there and adjusts the iris to make sure that you don't blow the TV screen out when you're taping it. It doesn't. You can actually see what they're wearing versus actually see what the person sitting there is like a blob. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure you're not wearing something too bright, wearing something neutral. That's why I try to get a nice red, which no one ever has a problem with red typically. And dress appropriately. If you're doing a show talking about digging ditches, you'll be wearing jeans and a some kind of flannel shirt probably. And if you're doing some kind of business related show, then you probably want to look professional. So what other things we want to talk about? Cameraman Phil, you're brand new to this. What would you like to talk about?
Anything you want.
Anything I want. Now, he has learned the first lessons of working with somebody. If you don't know, let them decide. No. So we can talk about that. Is when you were we talked earlier about television production and how important it is if you want to have your voice heard, or if you want to have something that's important to you shared on television, is to go on and contact your local cable station. But once you've actually made that commitment to go in and say, yes, I want to volunteer for something, or I want to do something, make sure you actually stick with it. A lot of times people go in and say, hey, I'm so excited, I'm so interested, and then they get in there, they take the first class and go, oh, I didn't realize there was work involved in it. What do you mean paperwork? What, we have to plan what we're doing? Oh, we have to edit it too? Things like that. It's a lot of work. It's not something typically you can speak and go in there with no experience whatsoever and do a reasonably good job with. This show here is the prime example. I direct all the time. I produce a bunch of shows, but I don't get in front of the camera very often. And so from my part of it, this is my training, is sitting in front of a camera and saying whatever it is I need to talk about and get the feeling. So when you come in to be a producer or director or just to be a talent on television, just make sure that you really put 100% into it, you really pay attention, you really try to do a good job. Once you become a producer and you're really good at it, you've been doing it for a while and you have the flexibility to do whatever you want, however you want to do it, that's one thing. But try to go by the program to begin with. It'll help you out get a better quality program. So what other questions do we want to talk about? Are there any subjects we want to talk about?
Spanish announcement.
Spanish announcement. I was going to try to see if I can say the phone number and stuff like that in Spanish, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. If you're a Spanish speaker out there, and if I'm butchering it, feel free to just laugh at me in the privacy of your own home. So if you want to call and you want to get information on how you too can volunteer, regardless of what language you speak, call TVCTV at 503-629-8534 or 503-629-8534, or go online to www.tvctv.org and find out what's going on around the community and what you can do to get involved in it. Okay, that was my Spanish one. How'd I do?
I think you did a fabulous job.
I have a fabulous job, and I have some applause in the background from my one and only person that's either paying attention or supporting me. And thank you very much. I appreciate that, Bruce. You at home, what do you think? Don't try to comment. Obviously, you can't talk to me, but let me know how you do it sometime when you have a chance to meet me. I am trying to work on my Spanish, but it's it's slow. Any other questions or anything? We have a timeline on here, how far we are on the show.
How much time left?
1846 left?
10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes left? We got 10 minutes left, which normally speaking is an entire show. So what do we want to talk about next? Bruce?
Well, you direct a lot of shows. What are some of those shows that seem to be so successful?
What are some of the shows I direct because they're so successful? It's nice that you put that plug in there. That way I can repeat you and not sound like I'm blowing my own horn. What's actually going on today, what I'm working on today, I do a show called Conversations with Dr. Don. It's a nationally rebroadcast show. I think Washington, D.C. is one of the places that they get rebroadcast on, and they talk about everything from poetry to politics. And I don't necessarily take a position when it comes to politics, but I do help support Dr. Don Baham, which is a very talented producer that's a star of that show. Northwest Cycling is another show I do once a month. A very, very talented Ann Moreau on there. The other guy that's on there, the host of it, which also is a producer, he's all right. Actually, sorry, he's camera one operator tonight, Bruce Buffington. He does a great job. I love doing his show because it's once a month. Another one is What's Between Us. It broadcast taped last night on the 10th of the month. It's usually the second and fourth Wednesday from 8 to 9 o'clock, and it's a live show about relationships with Lisa Michaels on it is the primary host. Another one is TV Linux, which is broadcast live on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Cars talk about Linux, and he usually goes off a little bit. Sean Savage goes off a little bit and talks about the different politics involved in the technical community. And then the last show I work on right now is where I direct is PCI, which is Portland Community Improv. Brody Theater players come out and then they do some improv skits for us on television. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of things I involved in. We've got pretty much a routine. I'm trying to do this on the fly shows after Linux every time it plays, and then like this situation where I have, or Dr. Don was supposed to be recording tonight, and he's out of town right now, so he's given up a spot for me to go ahead and play with you. So does that help answer your question? No, I don't want an Irish shot. Does that answer your question there, Bruce?
Yes, it does.
He's happy, it seems like.
It really does. I really appreciate it.
He really appreciates it.
Stop moving.
Stop moving? Am I moving too much? Is this making you dizzy, or is it just pissing off the director? I do apologize for, no, I don't apologize. I'm the talent. If I want to go like this and get myself out of shot intentionally, just like this, just to mess with you, and then he switches to a camera to make sure I can't do it so much. I'm not going to do the can too much, I promise. I don't know how. Probably some law against it anyway. But again, just a reminder, folks, cable access gives you the opportunity to be yourself, whatever that may be. Again, go online to www.tvctv.org or give them a call at 503-629-8534. Let them know you're interested in doing something regarding television. If you're interested in being audience members, we're always looking for them for our Portland Cable, Community Improv show that plays the first Wednesday of the month. If you're interested, you could also, call up the station and say, hey, I'm interested in helping out with something, and we can see what we can do about hooking you up for that. So any other questions, any other subjects you want to cover? I know Eileen came in here. She's got to give me something.
No, I'm going to ask you who the top college football team is going to be this year.
Top college football team this year. I don't know, and you can quote me. Oh, apparently she's a Purdue alumni. So apparently my answer to that question is Purdue.
Thank you, Dennis.
For those of you that are in the same boat that I am that don't actually believe that, the 99.95% of the rest of the population, I do like U of O and OSU and PSU. They're all rivals and stuff like that, but since I don't really take one position or another, I really don't care if someone doesn't like that. But I do like to support my local activities. I'm a PSU student, technically speaking, so I'm somewhat of a Viking fan. I did some security with them once or twice, and I've done a lot of activities using the Ducks and the Beavers in the past, so I have a little bit of attachment to those no matter what, and I really don't care who wins. Now, if you want to talk about a professional sport, Raiders all the way. Everyone out there, the Seahawks and the Broncos and the 49ers, the Bears, and all those other teams out there, and I was going to use a term that was not happy, but Raiders are my team, my dad's team, my son's team, several of my friends' teams, so that's who I support. You may have seen a Raider shirt or Raider tie in the past, so that's who I support. And like any other Raider fan, you either love them or hate them. I'm in the love them category. If you're in the hate them category, I am just so sorry. We have to have somebody. So it looks like I got my 5-minute warning, right? Is that what that was for, Mark? You have a question, Mark, that you want me to address or an issue you want me to talk about? I'm going to talk about how Mark doesn't have any issues or things I want to talk about. Mark Burns is in the studio here tonight helping me out, and it just reminds me to make sure I publicly let people know I really appreciate the time, effort, and energy that you guys put into helping make my show successful, whether it be shows that I produce or shows that I direct. It does take a very large number of volunteers to come up with all the content of all the different shows that we do. And if you think one of the shows I've been working on looks really, really good, that's only because of the talented staff that comes and volunteers their time to do it. Again, they're not paid for it, so it's 100% on them to come and do it. They might get a little bit of benefit out of it by getting some experience or get something they can put on their resume, but overall you still have to have your dedication to do the job and do it well in order for it to come off well. So a good round of applause for everybody out there that's been helping me. Those that are in the studio right now, there you go. Since pretty much everyone that's in the background here is helping me or has helped me in the past with one or numerous different shows. I think I've been part of and or directed about 300 and some shows here at TVCTV, and maybe even more than I stopped counting a long time ago. And so just like any team that you have at work, if not everybody's working together, it's not going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot at control room. Can we go see with the control room back there? See Richard and Kat working hard. That would be Shift Black on program. Or send Mark. There you go. That's the control room. The gentleman sitting down in the middle there is usually where I'm sitting or standing, pacing back and forth. Thank you very much, control room. And the hands that we almost see there is Mark that doesn't want to show his face. So thank you very much, control room, for putting me on there. And sorry, Richard, that you're too embarrassed to turn around and look at the camera. So we have about, there you go. Thank you very much. Volunteer crews is one of our topics. That's right. So again, if you're interested in volunteering for a TV show, or if you're just interested in following in with what different things going on in the community, you want to watch government programming or what have you being videotaped, go online again to TVCTV.org and find out what programs are playing, or call them at 503-629-8534. And again, I'll try it and see if I can do it in Spanish. Te llamas de 503-629-8534. And Bruce told me that would be better if I counted it as the number 8 sequence versus one at a time, but I figured I did both of them during the show. I think I'm covered whichever way. Again, this is Dennis with On the Fly Television. I hope I've entertained you for the last 20x minutes and got you motivated to come into the studio and check out the different services that are available to you. And again, you can check your local different broadcasting and cable schedules on that website that we talked about. Or if you have a cable access station in your area, then feel free to go ahead and check those out. Again, looking online for cable access and your city and state, and you should be able to get that information. So any other topics anyone want to talk about in about a minute that I have left to talk?
Volunteer crew.
Talked about volunteer crew. Yes, we talked about them a few times, but can't ever not talk about it enough. You know, if you can volunteer, even if it's only once or twice, to see what's going on to support the monies that are spent for cable access. Any other questions, issues, or subjects you want to talk about? The crickets.
I want to know who your hairdresser is.
Who my hairdresser is. It's typically Christy at Great Clips over off Tannisbourne, typically. She cuts my hair about once a month or so, or maybe a little more than that. And thank you very much, Christy. I always come back to you. She's the only one, or excuse me, Supercuts, not Great Clips, sorry. Supercuts. So I got about 20 seconds left. Is that what that flashing 10 seconds twice goes? So that means I got to wrap up, folks. Again, thank you for watching. Contact TVCTV at the website that was on the screen earlier, or 503-629-8534. Thanks a lot for watching.